The vast expanse of space had always called to Dr. Elara Chen. As she gazed out the reinforced windows of the Arecibo Observatory's control room, she couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. Something was different about tonight's shift, though she couldn't quite put her finger on it. "Dr. Chen, you might want to take a look at this," called out Marco, one of her junior researchers. His voice carried a mix of excitement and confusion that immediately piqued Elara's interest. She strode over to his workstation, her eyes quickly scanning the displays. At first glance, everything seemed normal, the usual cosmic background radiation, pulsars keeping their steady beats. But then she saw it, a pattern. Subtle, yet undeniably present. "How long has this been coming through?" Elara asked, her heart beginning to race. Marco checked his logs. "It started about 20 minutes ago. I almost missed it, but the pattern recognition software flagged it as anomalous." Elara nodded, her mind already racing through possibilities. This wasn't like anything they'd seen before. The signal was too structured to be natural, yet it didn't match any known human-made transmissions. "Run it through the decryption algorithms," she ordered, turning to address the rest of the team. "I want every available resource focused on this signal, and someone get me a direct line to NASA and the ESA. We might be looking at a first contact scenario." The control room erupted into a flurry of activity. Researchers who had been dozing through the night shift were suddenly wide awake, fingers flying across keyboards as they worked to analyze the mysterious transmission. Hours passed in a blur of data analysis and heated discussions. As the sun began to rise over the Puerto Rican landscape, Elara found herself standing before a room full of government officials and scientific peers, all connected via a hastily arranged video conference. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "At 2:37 hours this morning, the Arecibo Observatory detected an artificial signal of extraterrestrial origin." A murmur ran through the assembled dignitaries. Elara continued, "The signal contains a repeating pattern that we believe to be a form of mathematical communication. Our best cryptographers are working on decoding it as we speak, but one thing is clear: we are not alone in the universe." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. News of the signal leaked to the press, and soon the whole world was abuzz with speculation. Governments scrambled to form response plans, religious leaders sought to reconcile their teachings with the new reality, and ordinary people looked to the stars with a mixture of hope and fear. Elara found herself at the center of it all, working tirelessly with an international team of scientists to decipher the alien message. Progress was slow but steady. The mathematical basis of the signal proved to be a universal language, bridging the gap between human and alien minds. It was Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant young linguist from Tokyo University, who made the crucial breakthrough. "It's an invitation," she announced one day, her eyes shining with excitement. "They're inviting us to meet them." The revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community and beyond. The signal contained coordinates for a rendezvous point just beyond the orbit of Mars, along with instructions for building a device that would allow for faster-than-light communication. Governments around the world united in an unprecedented show of cooperation. Resources were pooled, and the brightest minds were brought together to prepare for humanity's greatest journey. Elara watched in awe as a sleek spacecraft, the culmination of human ingenuity and alien guidance, took shape in Earth's orbit. Dubbed the Envoy, it represented the hopes and dreams of an entire species. As the day of launch approached, Elara found herself grappling with a mix of emotions. The thrill of discovery warred with the fear of the unknown. What would they find out there? Would the aliens be benevolent or hostile? And why had they chosen now to make contact? The night before the launch, Elara stood on the roof of her apartment building, gazing up at the stars. The enormity of what they were about to undertake weighed heavily on her. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a voice said behind her. Elara turned to see Marco, who had become her right-hand man throughout this ordeal. She nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. It's hard to believe that somewhere out there, someone is looking back at us. Marco joined her at the railing. Are you nervous about tomorrow? Ilara considered the question for a moment. Nervous? Yes, but also incredibly excited. We're about to embark on the greatest adventure in human history. As dawn broke, Ilara found herself strapped into one of the envoy's acceleration couches, surrounded by a carefully selected team of scientists, diplomats, and military personnel. Captain Sarah Nguyen, a decorated astronaut with multiple Mars missions under her belt, sat at the helm. All systems a go, Sarah's calm voice came over the intercom. Prepare for launch in T-10, 9, 8. Ilara closed her eyes, feeling the vibration of the engines building beneath her. This was it, the moment that would change everything. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. The envoy surged upward, breaking free from Earth's gravitational embrace. As they accelerated towards their rendezvous with destiny, Ilara couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in what humanity had accomplished. In just a few short months, they had decoded an alien message, built a spacecraft unlike anything seen before, and were now hurtling towards an encounter that would reshape their understanding of the universe. The journey to the meeting point was surprisingly smooth, thanks to the alien-inspired propulsion technology. As they approached the coordinates, tension mounted on the bridge of the envoy. I'm picking up something on long-range sensors, announced Li Chen, the sensor specialist. It's massive. A collective gasp went through the crew as the alien ship came into view. It was unlike anything they had imagined, a structure of impossible geometry, shimmering with an inner light that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around it. This is Captain Sarah Nguyen of the Earth ship Envoy. Sarah broadcast on the frequency provided in the original message. We come in peace and friendship. For a moment, there was only silence. Then a reply came, not in sound, but directly into their minds. Welcome, children of Earth, the alien voice resonated within them. We are the collective, and we have long awaited this moment. As the crew of the Envoy struggled to process this new form of communication, the alien ship extended what appeared to be a docking tunnel. It was an invitation and a challenge to take the next step into a larger universe. Ilara exchanged glances with her crewmates, seeing her own mix of fear and excitement mirrored in their eyes. Whatever lay beyond that tunnel would change the course of human history forever. With a deep breath, she unbuckled her harness and stood. Well, she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach, shall we go meet our new neighbors? As they approached the airlock, Ilara couldn't help but feel that they stood on the threshold of a new era. Humanity had taken its first, tentative steps into the cosmic ocean, and the adventures that awaited them were beyond imagination. The airlock cycled, and as the door slid open, Ilara and her team found themselves face to face with the unknown. The future of humanity hung in the balance, but in that moment, all Ilara felt was an overwhelming sense of wonder and possibility. Their journey had only just begun, the Galactic trial. As Ilara and her team stepped through the airlock, they found themselves in an environment that defied their understanding of physics. The corridor before them seemed to stretch infinitely, its walls shimmering with an iridescent light that pulsed in rhythm with their thoughts. Incredible, breathed Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her eyes wide with wonder. It's as if the ship itself is alive. Captain Sarah Nguyen took point, her military training evident in her cautious approach. Stay alert, everyone. We don't know what to expect. They hadn't taken more than a few steps when a figure materialized before them. It was vaguely humanoid, but its form seemed to shift and flow like liquid mercury. When it spoke, it was once again directly into their minds. Welcome aboard the Nexus, the being communicated. I am Zin Ra, emissary of the Galactic Council. We have much to discuss. Ilara stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her apprehension. We're honored to meet you, Zin Ra. I'm Dr. Ilara Chen, lead scientist of the Earth delegation. Zinra's form rippled in what they interpreted as acknowledgement. "Follow me, representatives of Earth. The Council awaits." As they walked, or rather floated, through the ship, Elara and her team were bombarded with sights and sensations beyond their wildest dreams. Rooms that defied Euclidean geometry, beings of pure energy fitting about their tasks, and technology so advanced it seemed like magic. Finally, they entered a vast chamber. Arranged in a circle were beings of various forms, some recognizably alien, others completely beyond human comprehension. At the center stood a holographic representation of the Milky Way galaxy, slowly rotating. Zinra gestured towards the assembled beings. The Galactic Council, representatives of the most advanced civilizations in our galaxy. A being that looked like a sentient crystal formation spoke, its thoughts resonating clearly in their minds. "Humans of Earth, you stand at a crossroads. Your species has progressed to the point where you can no longer be ignored by the galactic community. However, your admission is not guaranteed." Captain Guyen stepped forward, her voice steady. "What do you mean by admission? Are you saying there's some sort of galactic federation?" A chorus of mental chuckles rippled through the chamber. Another being, this one resembling a cloud of bioluminescent gas, responded. "In a manner of speaking, yes. We are a collective of civilizations that have proven themselves worthy of joining the greater galactic community. And now you face the same challenge." Elara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. A challenge? What kind of challenge? Zinra's form shifted, taking on a more serious aspect: the Galactic Trial. A series of tests designed to evaluate your species' potential, ethics, and readiness to join our ranks. Dr. Tanaka, ever the diplomat, spoke up. "And if we refuse?" The crystal being's thoughts carried a hint of sadness. "Then you will be returned to your world, your memories of this encounter erased. Your civilization will be monitored, but no further contact will be initiated until you either destroy yourselves or evolve beyond the need for our guidance." The human delegation exchanged glances, a silent agreement passing between them. Captain Guyen squared her shoulders and addressed the council. "We accept your challenge. What are the terms of this trial?" The holographic galaxy at the center of the chamber zoomed in, focusing on a particular spiral arm. 3 star systems illuminated, forming a triangle. 3 trials, 3 worlds, Zinra explained. Each will test a different aspect of your species' capabilities. You have one of your Earth years to complete all 3. Succeed, and you will be welcomed into the galactic community. Fail, and you return home, none the wiser. About Earth, won't our absence be noticed? The gaseous being rippled in what might have been amusement. Time flows differently here. When you return, successful or not, barely a moment will have passed on your world. As the human team absorbed this information, the crystal being spoke again. "Prepare yourselves. The first trial begins now." Before they could react, the chamber dissolved around them. Elara felt a sensation of falling, of being stretched and compressed simultaneously. When the world solidified again, they found themselves on the surface of an alien world. Gone was the sleek technology of the Nexus. They stood on a barren, rocky plain under the light of 2 suns. The air was thin but breathable, and in the distance, they could see the ruins of what might have once been a great city. A holographic image of Zinra appeared before them. "Welcome to Aridus, a world ravaged by its own inhabitants' short-sightedness. Your first trial is one of resourcefulness and environmental stewardship. You have 1 local solar cycle, approximately 50 of your Earth hours, to create a self-sustaining ecosystem in the ruins yonder. Good luck." With that, the hologram vanished, leaving the human team alone on the alien world. Captain Guyen was the first to recover. "All right, people, let's take stock. What resources do we have?" They quickly realized they had been left with nothing but the clothes on their backs and their collective knowledge. No tools, no supplies, not even a way to measure time accurately. Dr. Tanaka squinted at the ruined city. Those structures might provide some shelter, maybe even materials we can use. Ilara nodded, her scientific mind already analyzing the environment. The presence of those lichens on the rocks suggests there's still some life here. If we can identify the native flora and fauna, we might be able to jumpstart an ecosystem. Marco, who had been unusually quiet until now, spoke up. But how do we do that with no tools, no seeds, nothing to work with? Ilara smiled, a glint of determination in her eyes. We use what we have, our minds. Remember, this is a test of human ingenuity. Let's show them what we're made of. Over the next 2 days, the team worked tirelessly. They scavenged materials from the ruins, using broken bits of alien technology to fashion crude tools. Ilara and Dr. Tanaka worked on identifying the planet's remaining life forms, while Captain Guian and Marco focused on creating shelter and finding water sources. It was grueling work under the harsh light of Aridus's twin suns, but slowly they began to make progress. They created a rudimentary irrigation system using the ruins' ancient aqueducts. Ilara managed to cultivate a type of fast-growing algae that could serve as the base of a new food chain. As the deadline approached, they stood back to survey their work. The once barren area around the ruins now showed signs of life. Small pools of water nourished patches of alien vegetation, and tiny insect-like creatures had already begun to populate their fledgling ecosystem. Just as the second sun was setting, Zinra's hologram reappeared. The alien's form rippled in what they now recognized as approval. Impressive, Zinra's thoughts resonated in their minds. You have demonstrated resourcefulness, teamwork, and a deep understanding of ecological principles. This trial is passed. Before they could celebrate, the world around them dissolved once again. This time, when reality reasserted itself, they found themselves in what appeared to be a highly advanced laboratory. Zinra's hologram flickered to life once more. Welcome to Cynthia, a world dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and technological advancement. Your second trial is one of innovation and ethical scientific progress. You have 3 local days to develop a revolutionary technology that could benefit your species without causing harm to others or your environment. As the hologram faded, the team looked around in awe at the array of advanced equipment at their disposal. Captain Vuyan whistled low. Well, this is more like it. Dr. Chen, Dr. Tanaka, this is your arena. What do you think? Ilara's mind was already racing with possibilities. We need to think big, something that could solve one of humanity's greatest challenges. Dr. Tanaka nodded, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Energy production, medical advancements, space travel. All worthy goals, Ilara agreed. But remember, we need to consider the ethical implications. We can't create something that could be weaponized or cause unforeseen damage to our ecosystem. For the next 3 days, the team worked around the clock, brainstorming ideas, running simulations, and prototyping designs. They argued, collaborated, and pushed the boundaries of their knowledge, all under the watchful eye of unseen alien observers. In the end, they settled on an ambitious project, a device that could safely extract and neutralize microplastics from the world's oceans without harming marine life. It was a technology that addressed a pressing environmental concern while demonstrating humanity's capacity for cleaning up its own messes. As they put the finishing touches on their prototype, Zinra reappeared. The alien's form seemed to glow with interest as it examined their creation. A most intriguing solution, Zinra communicated. You have shown not only technological prowess, but also a commendable concern for your planet's well-being. This trial, too, is passed. Exhausted but elated, the team braced themselves for the final shift. The laboratory faded away, replaced by a vast, star-filled void. They found themselves on what appeared to be a transparent observation deck, floating in space. Zinra's form coalesced before them, more solid and defined than they had yet seen it. You have impressed us, humans, but your final trial will be your most challenging yet. It is a test of wisdom, empathy, and the ability to see beyond your own perspective. The void around them filled with holographic representations of various alien species, some familiar from the Galactic Council, others entirely new. Before you are representations of 100 different civilizations, Zinra explained. Each has a unique culture, biology, and set of needs. Some are in conflict with others. Your task is to create a framework for peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit among all these diverse beings. The team stared at the monumental task before them, the weight of the challenge settling on their shoulders. Ilara took a deep breath, looking at her companions. Well, team, this is what it all comes down to. Are we ready to prove that humanity deserves a place among the stars? As they set to work on their greatest challenge yet, Ilara couldn't help but feel that regardless of the outcome, humanity had already taken its first, momentous steps into a larger, more wondrous universe than they had ever imagined. The final trial had begun, and with it, the ultimate test of humanity's potential, unexpected allies. As the human team grappled with the enormous challenge of creating a framework for galactic cooperation, they found themselves overwhelmed by the complexity of the task. The sheer diversity of the alien civilizations before them seemed to make conflict inevitable. Ilara rubbed her temples, fatigue setting in. There are just too many variables. How can we possibly account for all these different needs and perspectives? Just then, a soft glow appeared near them. It coalesced into a familiar form, Zinra. But this time, the alien's demeanor was different, almost conspiratorial. You are not meant to succeed alone, Zinra communicated, its thoughts tinged with what felt like warmth. This trial is as much about knowing when to ask for help as it is about problem-solving. The team exchanged surprised glances. Captain Buyan stepped forward. Are you offering to help us? Zinra's form shimmered. Not directly, but I can guide you to those who can. Remember, in the galactic community, no species exists in isolation. Alliances and cooperation are key. With that cryptic message, Zinra gestured towards the holographic aliens. Suddenly, the team could interact with them, communicate with these representations of distant civilizations. As they began to engage with the aliens, the humans realized that many of these beings have faced similar challenges in their own histories. By listening and learning from their experiences, the team began to piece together a framework that could work. Dr. Tanaka's eyes lit up with understanding. It's not about finding a perfect solution that works for everyone. It's about creating a flexible system that allows for ongoing negotiation and adaptation. With this new perspective and the collective wisdom of their unexpected allies, the human team worked tirelessly to refine their proposal. As the deadline approached, they presented their framework to Zinra and the Galactic Council. To their relief and joy, it was accepted. They had passed a final trial. Zinra's form glowed with approval. You have demonstrated not only intelligence and creativity, but also humility and the wisdom to seek help when needed. Earth has earned its place among the stars. As the simulation faded away and they found themselves back on the Nexus, the team realized their journey was only beginning. Humanity was about to take its first steps into a vast, complex, and wondrous galactic community. Ilara looked at her companions, a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration on their faces. Well, she said with a smile, I guess it's time to go home and share the good news. Earth is joining the galaxy, the hive mind threat. As the human team prepared to return to Earth with news of their success, alarms blared throughout the Nexus. Zinra appeared, its form flickering with urgency. A grave threat has emerged, Zinra communicated. The collective, a hive mind entity from the galactic fringe, is expanding rapidly. It seeks to assimilate all sentient life into its consciousness. Holographic displays showed entire star systems falling to the collective's advance. The Galactic Council was in disarray, their carefully balanced alliances crumbling in the face of this overwhelming force. Captain Nguyen's eyes narrowed. How can we help? Zinra's form pulsed with surprise. You've only just joined our community. We couldn't ask. You're not asking. Elara interrupted. We're offering. Earth is part of this galaxy now. Its problems are our problems. The team quickly found themselves at the center of the resistance effort. Dr. Tanaka's linguistic skills proved crucial in coordinating the diverse alien fleets. Marco's out-of-the-box thinking led to innovative defensive strategies. Captain Nguyen's leadership rallied demoralized allies. But it was Elara who made the breakthrough. Analyzing the collective's communication patterns, she realized its greatest strength, unity, was also its weakness. If we can introduce conflicting information into its network, she explained, we might be able to create discord within the hive mind itself. As the collective's forces bore down on the Nexus, the team put their desperate plan into action. Using the advanced technology of their alien allies, they launched a cyber attack on the collective's core consciousness. For agonizing hours, the battle raged both in space and within the virtual realm of the hive mind. Then suddenly, the collective's ships began to falter. Its unified front splintered as individualism reasserted itself within the assimilated beings. As the immediate threat receded, Xinrei addressed the human team. You've saved us all, but the collective, though weakened, still exists. The galaxy faces a long struggle ahead. Elara nodded, determination in her eyes. And Earth will stand with you every step of the way. Copyrightory, Triumph of Diversity. 1 year after the collective's initial attack, representatives from across the galaxy gathered on Earth. The United Nations headquarters in New York City had been transformed into a hub of interstellar diplomacy. Elara stood at the podium, addressing the assembled delegates, a mix of humans and aliens of all shapes and sizes. The scene was a testament to the incredible journey humanity had undergone. Today, we celebrate not just our victory over the collective, but the power of our diversity, Elara began. Each of our species brings unique strengths to our alliance. It is our differences, not our similarities, that make us strong. She gestured to her team, Captain Nguyen, Dr. Tanaka, and Marco, who stood proudly alongside alien allies they now called friends. The collective sought to erase individuality, but we've proven that a unity born of choice and mutual respect is far more powerful than forced assimilation. As she spoke, holographic displays showed the progress made in pushing back the collective. Former hive mind victims were being rehabilitated, rediscovering that individuality with the help of Earth's mental health experts. We face challenges ahead, Elara continued, but I'm confident that together we can build a galaxy where all sentient beings can thrive. Our differences are not obstacles to overcome, but strengths to be celebrated. The chamber erupted in a chorus of cheers, applause, and various alien vocalizations of approval. As Elara looked out over the diverse crowd, she felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity had not only found its place among the stars, but had also played a crucial role in shaping the galaxy's future. In that moment, under the warm sunlight streaming through the windows, the promise of a brighter, unified, yet beautifully diverse cosmic civilization felt within reach. Xinra, now Earth's official liaison to the Galactic Council, approached Elara as she left the podium. Its form shimmered with what she now recognized as pride. When we first contacted Earth, we hoped to find allies, Xinra communicated. Instead, we found leaders. The galaxy's future is brighter with humanity in it. Elara smiled, her gaze turning to the sky visible through the windows. The stars seemed to shine a little brighter now, full of promise and possibility. We're just getting started, she said softly. The greatest adventures still lie ahead. As night fell over New York, the city lights mingled with the glow of alien vessels in the sky, a fitting symbol of the new era of cooperation and exploration that was dawning for Earth and its galactic neighbors.